Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Tina and I'm just over the moon crushing on this Lucky Cat collection. I'm in the middle of a series. I think this is my third video with this collection. Excuse me. And I really love it. I'm noticing I'm not mic'd up, so let's go ahead and fix that. Videos, right? Okay. There we go. All right, so this is my third video, I believe, in this series, and I am really loving it. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. I thought I was going to start coughing. Okay, so what I did for the Lucky Cat collection, and I'll put all the information down in the description, is I did the dies and this paper, the Lucky Cat dies paper. I decided after looking at this that I just did not want to color all of this. I do like to color sometimes, but it's very time consuming. And I am currently coloring a lot of dinosaurs right now and a couple of other things. And I'm getting back to my paper piecing. So this was just the most perfect solution for that. I have a bunch of these small cherry blossoms that I've already cut. I've already cut a bunch of these off, and so I did some pre-work. All right, here we go. So I will not be doing any stamping with the series. Off camera, I have already taken the 2 cherry blossoms off the sticker sheet, and I have foam tape on those along with a lot of the cherry blossoms that I cut out. I have a little title there as well. All right, so I'm not getting a lot of time to craft right now. It is definitely a struggle. I'm this time of year, once a year, I go through certain upgrades, organizational things. I try to improve something in my craft room or my office, and my office has been neglected for a long time. It's off to the side of my craft room. And that actually next week is finally here. That space will be completely painted, all new trim, all of that stuff. I do plan on sharing, but one of the things that is really helping me is I'm using the 2025 Scrapping With You sketchbook. Information will be in the description of the video. I open up a paper pack. I get 3 layouts out of the paper. I try to use the coordinating cardstock, but really I focus on using cardstock that I already have. That's really important for me. I get those projects laid out, cut, ready to put together, lay them in piles, match up my pictures if I can. If it's a pre-done layout, that's what I do, and then I move on. All right, so that is what I've done here. I printed my copy of the sketch that I'm using. This is layout 2, sectioned off, which focuses on this. I'm going to bring this in later because I kind of did most of this. We're going to add some little details, and I'm going to chat about that, but I'm going to focus on this page right here. You can see I even note what photos to put where, because I normally just slip all of this in a bag and then I have my notes. I'm not going to remember this, right? I'm just not. All right, so this Lucky Cat collection is all that. I'm thinking I'm going to add a couple more pictures in some 3x3s because I had 2 more photos that are not included in this sketch. Let's just grab our cutter, and I'm going to try to cut these down to a 3x3. I have the Cherry Blossom Queens. These photos are from 2008. I kid you not, 2008. They are part of the long lost pictures found on my computer, and it's been really nice. I am still using up some not so lovely photo paper, but I'm dealing with it. I'm just kind of picking and choosing what layouts I do with that, if that makes any sense. Okay, there we go. So now I have a couple of 3x3s, and I pulled some scrap mini dot paper, and I'm going to do this at 3 1/4, 3 1/4, just so I can mat those. There we go. And another thing I have really been working on is using up bags of scrap paper, destashing papers that I'm not going to be reordering or using. All of those have become very important to me now as I'm trying to do this whole new organization, as I kind of spin around my craft room, revolve around my craft room. with some organization. I'm going to put these on here. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to use them both, but we shall see. Okay. That is a little crooked, but it happens. All right, here we go. Right. Okay. I'm going to bring this in so we can go ahead and start putting this together. All right, I do want to share something I did here. If you look, this is actually 2 pieces of paper. This mat, the black mat behind here, are 2 pieces of smaller paper. These are 2 pieces of paper I cut 2 1/8 by 6 1/4, and then I patched them together. You really can't tell unless you look at it. Like, you know, you can't tell when they're on there. I have a huge amount of the same size of scraps from making kits, and I just thought this would be a great way to use them up. I gave it a try, and I've done them where they're 2 different papers to make like a dual mat. But this is the first time I did this, and it worked just fine. Okay, this is 3 by 12. And this is this beautiful cherry blossom paper. I love it. I'm really excited that I get to scrapbook this. I thought this was long lost, and I told my son that we went to the Cherry Blossom Festival many years ago as he took his girlfriend Chloe up this year to the Cherry Blossom Festival. And I said, oh, we did that years ago one time. And so to be able to, you know, have a few pictures. I didn't take tons of pictures while we were there, but I have a few. Matter of fact, I have no pictures of Kat, my cousin Catherine. We just didn't take many. We took a lot of, you know, the parade. All right, let's go ahead and put these. So both the same. And now this here is a 1/2 inch. I love that the Scrap in Sketchbook comes complete with a design space file for every sketch. I have been using that to organize so many things, just taking one of the sketches and going save as, and then using the same color. You know, I changed all my colors for the different papers that I want to use, and then just writing up another code saying I want this out of the camping ground paper. I want this out of the ocean paper and the beach. So I'm definitely getting a lot more organized and getting a lot more done, because when I feel like I'm in a mode where I can design, I can sit down and design using all these awesome design space files. And then if I'm in, you know, a position where I can craft, then I can craft. All right, just going to put this right down the middle, filling it in, basically all we're doing. Okay. I feel like that's crooked. Definitely looks crooked to me. I stuck so much adhesive on this. I just don't think it's going to be very kind to me. Let's see. Let's use our grid, which I didn't do. It's going to be kind enough. Okay, I'm going to appreciate it. Let's go ahead and just pop this on here. I'm going to just go a little bit more to this side. Here we go. This will help us out. Okay. And now I can kind of look at it and see. This is why I always need a grid, and this here is way off. So this starts with this little guy here, which is on with glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fix it at that point right there. See if I can just kind of cover it a little bit. It happens. We're going to be putting stuff on top of it, so okay, I'd rather this here than this here be where it is, because I know my layout, and you can see I'm covering this area up. So I just kind of shifted that a little bit to help me hide that. All right, we'll go ahead and trim this off. All right, here we go. Just gonna pop that back in. All right. So I have 2 photos that are 4 1/4, 6 1/4 matted here. I'm picking that adhesive kind of wrapped around my photo a little, and I want to try to pick it off as opposed to rubbing it off. I have to tell you, I've been having the craziest issues with adhesive lately, and I have so much adhesive, but I have had some really odd things happening with adhesive lately. And we're just gonna grab our other one and do a swap instead of fixing that. Okay, so I have my kiddos, the monument. There we go. It's gonna go right there, I think. I'm not gonna push it down until I get this photo in here because I feel like this one's gonna have to go over a little bit more. Oh, that's gonna cover that nicely. Look at this. This is the Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. and parade. So it's a festival, it's a parade, it's all things. And this is really focused on pictures of the parade. We went to the parade. It has such a beautiful story, such a beautiful history. But one of the things that they really stress is you do not pick the blossoms. You are not to come home with souvenirs from these blossoms. They are very protective. There were national park people there and everything, but we got to learn a lot about where all of this came from, and it was a really special time. I don't know that I'm going to end up using these pictures. I don't mind so much matting them in case I do. I could put these here, which is my thought, because I have a title and my title is all ready to go. I'm going to take these cherry blossoms out and just kind of get to my title, which is in the bottom of my little tray. I went ahead and put foam tape on all of that so that it would be ready to go. And my title is Big Surprise Cherry Blossom. That's my whole title. My title is Cherry Blossom. I just went to my thin cuts, and I've been trying to use up a lot of my scraps of this mini dot. So it just worked for me. I might have preferred slightly smaller, just a little bit, if I had thought I was going to put them both at the top. I had kind of thought that I would put up the top and then down at the bottom. But now that I'm adding these extra, we're going to see if this lays out. So much easier when they already have all the foam tape on them. This is what took me all the time. Let's see. All right. Let's swap them. We're going to just switch them. There we go. And put the blossom part over here. All right. I think I'm going to work backwards on this. All right. That's going to be my title. There is this Adventures Out There Debating, but I found these flower sequins. They're white, and I kind of feel like they look close. They have, 5 petals. Cherry Blossom has 5 petals. Oh, yeah, that's right. My nails were done for this too. I have cherry blossoms on my nail. I'm glad I got this video in before I had to get my nails done again. Okay. But I feel like this is kind of the guts here out of it. I don't know that I love the size of these. I think I would prefer these to be a little bit smaller than the 3x3. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my title down. And then after I get the title down, I'm going to bring in that other page. I may trim these down while I'm working on it, but I'm going to bring in that other page so that we can kind of put the pretty stuff on it and finish this layout off. I do want to get the measurement on this though. I don't want to forget because I'm usually like whatever's left over. Okay, so this piece here is, had it the right way. Okay, 5 inches, 5 by 12. So you have a 3, 1/2, 1/2, which, and then the 5. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this down and I'll be right back. Okay. So I went ahead and I got my title down. It is all on foam tape. So I had pre-done that. It is with a black mini dot paper from Photoplay. Let me go ahead and looks like this. And I really like the texture of that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add some of my pieces. I have done some pre-work. This is always the part I think that takes me forever. And while I start putting some of these down, I want to talk about the right side of my page and how I changed it, why I changed it, and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in. Here's the original. And you can see the original called for this layout to have the three 6x4s kind of up here, just like this, in this kind of like an L. And then the rest was all 3x4s. And what I did is whatever I wanted. And I think that's really great. Now, layouts like this are often people look at them as though they are meant for pocket scrapbooking. And that's where I got the idea. I think pocket scrapbooking has a lot of really great layouts. And I'm bringing in all my other pieces. Here we go. So I did sort my pieces a little bit so that it could be easier. And then I have lots of these cherry blossoms, and I'm just going to start adding. So pocket scrapbooking has great layouts. I mean, they have really, really beautiful layouts, but we don't kind of tend to gravitate towards those for the simple reason that it's like you need a pocket page or whatever. I only know them as pocket pages, but I'm sure they have other names in the industry. And my thought was, why do we have to have the pocket page? Why can't we just do whatever we want with it? And that's kind of really what I wanted to do. All right, that one up there, maybe. I did leave more room on this side here, but I have something else that I think I'm going to put there. I'm just trying to make sure that I get these different colors cherry blossoms on there. So all I did was I took the pocket page idea and I said, put your pieces down in kind of this order. I always list some as like detail focals, because a detail focal is just where your journaling might be or anything. It's these picture my life cards and such. All right, I really want to make sure that I get some of these cherry blossoms in everywhere. Like all the cherry blossoms. I want all the cherry blossoms. Okay, here we go. And then I want to add some selectively over to this page. This was huge because you might not be able to tell, but this right here is Keke Palmer. And if you had a child that was about this age here in 2008 who watched anything on Disney, you knew who Keke Palmer was. Keke Palmer was everywhere. And George and I just recently watched a new movie of hers. I can already tell I'm going to want, these are going to be super cute. George and I just watched a new movie of hers. I want to say maybe it was Prime. But it was pretty good. I have to say it was pretty good. So maybe you'll check that out. This one is a little bit big. This was the sticker, so it's a little bit bigger than the others. I think right here. Okay, there we go. Okay. But I want to give some love to this right page as well. And I already can tell what I'm going to want to do is take those journaling strips and make those just a little bit smaller so that I can add one of these lovelies over here as well. All right, let's just go ahead and let me just get a measurement on that. So they're currently 5. They're 3/8. My journaling strips are, if I don't ever give the measurement, my go-to, my default is I'm gonna cut these to 3.5. Is 3/8. I'm going to cut these to 3.5. I do want to be able to journal a little bit on here. And I may even have to add another photo to this later on. If I play with a photo, I think I can make it work. There we go. And I have one more photo that I might add. All right. Much better. I think those will work. I'm going to put those on. Yeah, I just dumped all those pieces on the floor. All right, I think I'm going to do this on foam tape. All right. So this Lucky Cat collection, when I first started looking at it, I really only had ideas for a couple of layouts. And then I started telling friends, oh, I have this. And, and they were like, oh, have you thought about this and this? And now my list, which I love to keep a list with my papers, just on a scrap piece of paper, write down ideas to use your paper packs. A lot of us buy paper packs because they intrigue us, not necessarily because we can use them. It's true. But you can see here, I ended up with 10. And I've only done 4 of the 10. So with my next layout coming up, which is the bonsai exhibit at Longwood. A lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. But I have too much to do. All right, we're going to see if I'm able to get all 4 of these on here. I'm thinking may end up only being able to get 3. But we're going to see. They're going to need to move over to the left to make room for my adorable. She's so cute. But this is why I did not want to color these. Like, as I'm looking at it, the details on them, they really are just so good. All right, I want to stagger these even though I'm leaving. So I'm just going to do a very small stagger. I'm going to do tight, nice and tight so I can get all 4 on here. That way I can do some bullet point journaling and really kind of bring all this together. There we go. It's going to be a tough decision. Or not. All right. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm thinking I really like that. Now, I have this fan that I was also thinking about putting on. It is covered in cherry blossoms, and if I couldn't make this cherry blossom up here by the title work, I was going to go with this. And I really like it. And I'm going to be adding a ton of small cherry blossoms. So this is something that I would like to incorporate in on here as well. All right. I need so much more foam tape. And I had this other little title that says it on a pocket card, and it just says adventure is out there. And I was thinking of maybe putting that somewhere, but I'm looking at it now and thinking I'm probably not going to be able to make that work. So all I had to do was put on the show that I'm currently binging. That's what I do. And do my thin cuts. And all of these gorgeous embellishments came out. This is such a great thing. I have been leaning into these for more of my layouts lately because I'm very behind on my scrapbooking. Now, don't get me wrong. If the goal is that you work and work and work to get caught up and then you don't have any more scrapbooking to do, yeah, that's not a reward I'm looking for, but I'm definitely feeling the amount that I have since I recently found the long lost pictures, and I'm super excited for those. But because of that, I'm just trying to be mindful of the fact that I want to make more progress. And George and I are trying to do one new thing a month, and we are traveling more than ever. He has retired. George is my husband, and he has retired. So we are just traveling more and trying to enjoy life a little bit more. So I think I'm going to bring this one kind of out from this side. Now this I have coming out here. This I have coming out here. This is kind of in the middle. I'm going to have to let it go. I had to decide if I was going to not use that or just have the branch coming out of nowhere. So I went right now with the branches just coming out of nowhere, and I'm going to like it. This one I'm going to have coming off the side. This one was the other one from the sticker sheet. There we go. And I'm just going to trim these off. Very little there and there. Okay. Think about how much time I could save on my scrapbooking if no one had ever introduced me to foam tape. All right, let's see. This says, I hope your dreams come true this year. I'm thinking that one might have been for Chinese New Year, but I liked it. And even though this wasn't Chinese New Year, I decided to go ahead and use that. I'm not going to worry about these branches. I kind of like the little pop of yellow there. And I don't want to do the same one. Okay, we're going to go with that. And this is, I'm loving it. I love all the things that I do with this collection. Okay, let me just bring that back right there. Okay, there we go. And some foam tape for this. Let's put a couple on there. We can get a little bit more. We need to. I really do like layers and dimension and adding things. I feel like that's just going to be too much. All right, I'm going to put those off to the side and bring in some of the other embellishments that I have so I can lay these out. Now, since I know that I'm not going to put any more of these on, as I'm not using them, I just kind of tend to pitch them to the other side. Okay. Nope. So after I do that, and I know that I'm not going to use them, I just take them and say, okay, I don't see a spot where I'm going to want to put that, and I pitch it to the other side. I have some ones that have like the cherry blossoms, and I may work some of these in. These are the epoxy dyes paper, and I am obsessed. So I love them. They're just a big favorite of mine. I think I have enough of this on here. She is super cute, but we're going to save her for another day. We're going to save her for another day because I used all the same one. But I do see lots of the little cherry blossoms in here, and I'm definitely going to want to be using some of those. This is a little pink cherry blossom right there. And I think I'm going to like the two of these next to each other right here. Now, you can use these without putting epoxy on them, for sure. I mean, epoxy is not needed, but I really do love the epoxy. And it's a personal choice because it is epoxy. And, you know, epoxy can have a love-hate relationship with time, but I think it's just you have to decide. There we go. I like the pink one. So a couple of little fans for up here too, I'm thinking. And I have so many of those. All right, now so I'll have a couple of epoxy here, and then I'm thinking, gonna layer those on top of each other. And I'm gonna add a bunch of flowers, but just to balance the layout out, like what's good for one side is good for the other. I'm just seeing if I could do the exact same size for two other epoxies, maybe. All right, this is where I spend all my time. Those of you who have been with me for a while, you know it. Here's where all my time goes. It goes to the little details. I can put a layout together in a few minutes, and then, yep, it all goes down. But this is actually going pretty well. This is a nice blue, which would give a cute little pop. And then I had a small one that I saw up here, which hopefully I did not pitch to the other side. There it is. See that? That's white, and that has some cherry blossoms on it too. Okay. There we go. And I think I'm going to like that. So I'll have two epoxies up here, and then I'll have the two epoxies down here because I'm going to add epoxy to these. All right, we're going to put these on. And I'm going to be a happy camper. Okay. And this. And then I am going to be adding, I gotta put these down. Oh, these aren't down yet. Okay. I'm going to be adding lots of little cherry blossoms wherever I can fit them, of those little paper dies that I cut out. And so nice. I have such a nice selection of those as well. Let's just add some regular adhesive to this one and then see what I think about the other one. I think I'm going to just keep the cherry blossoms up there on that foam tape. So There we go. So many embellishments, and I mean, it makes the decisions hard, but they're great problems to have. Am I right? Okay, I'm gonna start setting up for my cherry blossoms that I want to put on here. I don't want to lose, so I'm not gonna put the adhesive all over. I'm just gonna do sections. Okay, so I have 2 here. I'm gonna do them in groups of 2s. So I have 2 little dots right here. I'm supposed to go back and work from the first one. And there are 2 kinds of cherry blossoms. After I do this, I will, oh, I can't use that one. I could not use that one because it's yellow going right next to the yellow. And I can move them over. I'll show you how many I have, but there we go. Could have put these apart just a tiny bit more. Here we go. And I am trying to do one that is not colored in with one that is colored in, because you got 2 of these in here. I can't see my other dot. Well, maybe it never came out. Okay, that might have been a little too far apart. Here we go. Okay, so let me just show you this. You get, let me show you on the sheet actually. So you get 6 that are outlined, and then you get 6 that are colored in. Same colors, just the 2 different ones. And so I'm just kind of matching those up, and I don't want to have any lack of them anywhere. I plan on using a ton. This is how many I have cut out, so let's go. Just like the cherry blossoms would be falling everywhere. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for here. I'm going to put one by itself. I don't want to cover up the writing. There we go. And I'm also, as I'm doing this, working on moving my pieces over to the other side just to kind of make it easier to get to all the flowers. So up here's a perfect example. I don't want to use a yellow one because my big cherry blossom right there is yellow. And I am okay if they don't have a lot of dimension in some of the areas, like in the blossoms. I'm okay with that. I still want them there. I think they make a difference and I can see them. All right, there we go. That's so much better. Okay, over here, want one here. That's a good one. There we go. I'm going to put one here and one here. So that's going to be a solid. And then one of the hollows. There we go. I'm debating on if I want to put a couple on my photos, and I do often put things on top of my photos. So it's never a hardship. I know some people that's a big no, and that's okay, because, you know, that's the beautiful thing about scrapbooking, is that it can be so personal. I am just matching up the colors I have left because I tend to grab for certain colors. So then I end up with the same. Okay, right down here needs one. This one. Wait, no, this one. I like that color combo. All right, couple on photos, couple over. I don't know that I love this one that's going over the line, but we're going to go with it, and good, we're done. Okay, so now that I have that, I have my destash item. Currently, my rule in my crafting is I must use a destash item on every layout. Now, why I'm not tickled to death about that is, about this particular one, is I found a whole nother set. So I have not only this one, I then have a whole nother one, a whole nother sheet of these. Yeah. Let's see, what do I have here? I have 3 of a smaller heart down here, and I think those are going to work, but let's just use 2 of them and not worry about getting out another set. We're going to put these right here, the beginning of our journaling strips. Just done 2. There you go. And that counts for my item. For my destash item, it counts. Okay, I had pulled all kinds of bling out, pulled it aside. I'm destashing hearts, but I'm going right for our new black beveled sparkles. I love them. They're available on the website, so if you guys are looking for them, just add them as you go. All right, I'm going to put these in, but I want to ignore all those little cherry blossoms. I want to act like those little cherry blossoms are not even there. Okay, I want to do a big one here. Okay, 3. And there might be another place I can put 3, but that's gonna be a hard one for me. It's got to go a little smaller up here. I might just kind of work them in to where the cherry blossoms are now. There we go. Just using mediums right now. Only the places where I have 2, not there. Okay, going over to the small ones now. So like here, I can just kind of add that. I'm going to come back here and add one there, one there. Just kind of keep speckling them around. There we go. Little one there. I don't feel you always need to follow some rules where you have to do this same thing. Okay, right here is where I think I might be able to pull off another 3. I do kind of like to play the game. What's good for one is good for the other. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I have a lot of people who I hear say, well, you shouldn't have bling, just one piece of bling by itself. But if you're working on an embellishment cluster or you're doing something, you know, with something else, you can kind of count that as part of it. I've done 5s, I've done 7s. I almost always do odds though. Put another one with this one. Missed this one right here on my photo. It's going to get a little one. I feel like this is pretty good. Up here is going to get 2. I'm going to do both sides of that. Just kind of bring that together. All right, I think I'm good. All right, let's grab the epoxy. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining me and let me have a little bit of crafty time with you. It is something that I enjoy very much. And I appreciate you guys just letting me share and, you know, spend some time with you guys. I'm trying to find, I always pull another pack. So let me just see if I have that here because I'm going to be one short. There we go. Okay. So I'll just add this to my pack. It seems like the ones that I'm not using a lot of right now are the buttons, but I can't complain about that because I have some baby layouts that'll be coming up and I know I'll be using my buttons for those. Okay, I'm going to be short on the little one. Not my first time. I either run out of the really big or the really little on each set. All right. So I do try, now I'm trying to use, you know, whatever I have the most of, but it doesn't always work out that way. So the answer is I just get another pack. All right, here we go. And I get a lot of use out of them. You get an entire sheet for $6. You know, they're not super expensive. And then the epoxy dyes papers, I think every single one of them is under $2. They're like $1.49 or $1.79 for 2 sheets of all the little circles and the sayings. I think they're just kind of really affordable. So I like that. Whoops, that was close, y'all. This one off of this one. I won't be able to use any of the small ones. I can't go to a 3rd sheet, so I'm going to have to use some of these up. The buttons and stuff. Oh, I love them. I love the epoxy. Okay, that's going to do it for this layout. I really think that this has kind of everything that I wanted to do. My aunt and my cousin flew across country from Seattle for this trip. And one of my favorite pictures is this one right up here in the corner. I'll show you that as I show the details, for two reasons. One, we got our photograph with some navy, and my grandpa was navy, so that was really nice. My cousin Catherine is taking the picture. And then these are my favorite jeans that I ever owned, ever in my life. I wore these things until the bottoms were ratty and all the belt loops that I used them to pull up were gone. And then this picture here, three little monkeys. These are all over my scrapbooks. This poor lady in the back's like, I don't know what's going on, but these three little monkeys are all over my scrapbooks. We've been doing it for years. And then here are the details on this one. Try to keep it a little flatter, do a little bit better of a job. You can see all the dimension. Love how my embellishments are so perfect with their coloring because I didn't color them. So it came together nice, easy breezy. Okay, guys, thank you so much. If you like this video, and maybe you just enjoy listening to somebody while you're crafting, I know that's a favorite thing of mine, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. It's simple things that can help me out here in the YouTube community, and I am really grateful. If you leave me a comment, I'll make sure to comment back. I do check every single comment that comes in on my videos, and if you guys let me know if you try this, just covering your whole page, like making it like a pocket page without the pocket. I think that there's a lot of fun for that. Oh, also, this one I used regular white paper, but just a tip, use throwaway paper when you do this, just paper that you're going to cover the whole thing, so why not? You guys, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for just letting me share some time with you today on my scrapbook journey. I hope that you will come back again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.